Good morning and welcome to the 2026 FGCL All-Star Game here at Paul Masola in Bradenton, Florida. We are glad that you're here as the best of the best here in the FGCL, gathered together to face off. It's the Sun versus the Surf here at Field 2. Gray Robertson alongside Tom Canterbury. Michelle Smith will be along in just a moment, the third member of our team. But Tom, this event is always a blast. We usually see pretty tight, good softball in this game each and every year, and I'm sure it'll be more of the same here today.
I would certainly think so. This year in the FGCL is probably where we've seen the most across the board evenly distributed talent across the lineups, and I think that's been reflected in the All-Star game. These teams up and down the lineup, very, very impressive numbers, but they're going to be facing the two best pitchers that we've seen from day 1 to day 20 in the FGCL. In Carly Meredith, the pitcher of the year, taking on Hannah Duncan.
I mean, how could you not be ridiculously hyped for this starting pitching matchup? If you're not, I have grave concerns for you as a human being.
I don't know if you like softball, if that's the case.
So we'll go over the starting lineups momentarily. We will tell you first and foremost who is on which team. Representing the Surf, it's the Slice, Snowbirds, Swashbucklers, Finns, Impact, Queens, and Skeeters. And representing the Suns, the Mocs, Rodeo, Sea Cows, Circus, Loggerheads, Aquanauts, and Squeeze. We have given the okay to Ryan Moore. Both teams are going to come out, and the ceremonial first pitch will be thrown by one Michelle Smith. You can't miss her.
No, Schmitty is here. One of the faces of softball, just in general. Not only what she did. You think she's more of a face of softball because of what she did when she was a player, or what she's done now in multiple decades as a ESPN commentator?
Yes.
That is correct.
But, you know, it's an interesting conversation that I think because it's been a little bit, and we can talk with Michelle about it, I think people forget, like, how dominant she was in her day at Oklahoma State and with Team USA. And she'll be throwing the first pitch to the Defensive Player of the Year, Gracie Anderson, which is very cool.
Gracie Anderson, Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of it because people tried to run on her, and she made them pay for it.
Bad idea.
Right.
I don't recommend such things. Also, keep in mind, Michelle Smith, we can talk about this with her too. She made her return like a few months ago for the Vibe.
Yes.
Faced one batter. But, like, told us that she was still cooking, like 62, 63.
She could bring it. We'll see what she does here.
Here she is, the Olympic gold medalist and legend from Oklahoma State. And it's a strike, of course, from Michelle Smith.
It really was. Sometimes we say the ceremonial first pitches, oh, it's a strike. That really was.
Actually.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything less from our friend Smitty.
It's going to be fun to see. One of the reasons why we have such close games in the All-Star game in the FGCL is that they get competitive.
Yes.
The coaches, the players, they want to win this thing.
Well, and again, when you've got the best of the best, sometimes in these other games you're rotating spots and you got people out of position, and you know, maybe you've got some pitchers, like, you know, you have these set innings. I want to talk about this with Michelle too. You have these set innings, and if it's not going well, you kind of just got to figure it out. You got to problem solve. In this game, you got players playing their true positions, probably the best at that position throughout the year.
Yeah.
And I think that the opportunities are going to be plentiful for these teams. So I believe the third member of our team is about to come up here. Yes, here she is. We're going to stand up for the great Michelle Smith.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. All right. This was fun.
How did you feel good about that first pitch?
It was a little lower than I wanted it to be, but at least it didn't bounce in, so I'm pretty okay with it.
Oh, man. We have so much that we want to talk with you about during this. Just pitcher mindset. We want to talk about a bunch of other things. But first, I want to make sure that we get to the lineup for the Sun. coached by Taylor Pinnell. We just read some of the teams that are in there. And here is the starting lineup, the first 9. For the Sun, Elise Crescio from the Squeeze, the center fielder, is leading off. Hannah Evans, the left fielder, is batting second. Third baseman Madison Prim from the Circus is batting third. Evans also from the Squeeze in the 2 spot. Offensive Player of the Year, Alex Cutnelli, the first baseman, bats fourth. She's from the Loggerheads. Circus, Gabby Castillo, the catcher, she's in the 5 hole. Cash Harbor from the Rodeo, second base, bats sixth. Molly Mitchell, the right fielder, bats seventh. She is from the Mocs. Ariana O'Connell, the shortstop, is in the 8 hole. She's out of the Squeeze as well, playing short. And Mia Richards, the DP from the Circus, is batting ninth. Not bad to have the breakthrough athlete in the 9 hole. And they're facing, Michelle, I think a pitcher you're going to have a lot of fun watching. Mackenzie Duncan from Penn State out of a Snowbirds. A 2.26 ERA this summer, 43 and a third innings, 25 hits, 16 runs, 14 earned, 72 strikeouts, and 12 walks. Brings the velo.
Yeah, that's impressive. Especially, I love the strikeout to walk ratio. It's pretty darn good. Looks like she has some good movement. Just watching her warm-up pitches, and she's already slinging it in there.
She throws it as hard as anybody that we've seen here, for sure.
And I think what I love best about her is she's got this very wicked curveball. It's probably the best, one of the 2 best pitches in the league, but she's not afraid to throw it into righties, which I know every pitching coach is on board with.
Yeah, you have to be able to throw inside. It doesn't matter if you're a lefty or a righty. You've got to be able to work on the inner half of the plate against both right-handed and left-handed hitters. We talk about it all the time. Sandy Koufax said it best. Show me a guy that can't throw on the inner half, and I'll show you a loser. So, I mean, that's cemented in my brain as a child growing up pitching. So. And
Well,
it is true.
Elise Crescio will kick it off from the Squeeze. Just portaled from Oregon to North Florida. Hitting again, close to 500. 2-time All-Star. First pitch foul, and off we go.
I love seeing all these young ladies come down to Florida here and get some extra reps in the summer. I mean, to me, this is all about growth and continuing your passion and love of the game, but really setting yourself up for success in the future.
I was talking with Ryan about this. Like, even if you're not in a Power 4 league, or if you're even not D1, if you spend a summer here, wherever level you're at, you're going to be better when you come back there in the spring.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, baseball and softball are both sports of repetition, and it's repetition in practice, but it's also repetition in games. And even if you've had a lot of playing time in the spring, you can't take basically another 6 months of the year off and still expect to be your best. And so if you take 2 to 3 months off in the summer and time off after your fall season, in my opinion, you're not developing at the level or the rate you should be developing.
I just want to point out the Pros Pro, Michelle Smith, broadcast booth legend. She knew the pause before the pitch as Crescio fouls that off towards the tennis courts. From a pitching perspective, we were just talking about this, and I had a conversation with Shannon Sale too, because now she did it as a pitcher in the league year 1, and now she's evaluating it as a coach, new pitching coach at Oregon. How important is it to kind of have to come into this league, as Crescio fouls that again, and problem solve? You get the lineup and you're told I'm going 3 innings, and for the most part they're not going to pull you. How valuable is that experience to kind of have to figure out how to get outs if maybe you don't have your best stuff that day?
Yeah, absolutely. It teaches you the stuff that you're probably not learning in the college seasons, because you may not get pulled, as you said. You got to figure out how to get out of jams, which is really, as a college coach or an elite athlete, that's really what you want to do. You want to figure out, okay, I'm in a pressure situation here. How do I get out of it? But the other thing is it teaches you just the discipline of your work ethic and coming out and making sure that you're your best version of yourself and getting in the reps even when they're not playing the games here. So it's teaching yourself to be ready.
It's a really impressive walk drawn by Crescio to kick it off. Quickly, the defense for the Surf. Out in left field. Ooh, I love it. Out in left field is KB Bradshaw. Center field, Libby J. Hughes. Right field, Madison Hoffman. So a couple of Oklahoma State Cowgirls out in the outfield. Third base, Brantley Wortham. Shortstop, Alabama's Garrett Griggs. Second base, Harley Chisholm. First base, A.D. Martinez. And catching is Defensive Player of the Year, Gracie Anderson, who caught your first pitch. Hannah Evans out of East Carolina, representing the Squeeze. Takes strike one.
I think the other thing that I like about a league like this is that you come out of college where you have all these analytics being thrown at you, right? There are
Right.
no analytics here,
No.
right? And so it is the figure it out. What does this kid hit? Do I remember last time what I threw to her? You know, those are all the things that we had to do, you know, back in the 90s, even in the 96 Olympics. You know, we knew strengths of hitters based on our memory path of playing international teams, you know, in the past. Same with our pitchers, other pitchers, and the catchers. Ooh.
Came in and got her. A couple free passes, put 2 on, nobody out.
And so I think that's the biggest area for growth, you know, for a lot of these young athletes, not relying on what someone is telling them the strength of the hitter is out of the dugout or what the pitcher is going to be throwing at them when they're in the box. You know, figure it out.
I like that point too, because we are in an era where calling your own game is rare.
Yes.
Where, I mean, again, we have a lot of very good pitching coaches in the game, but at the same time, there is a lot of, for lack of a better phrase, hand-holding sometimes, and calling these games and putting the game plans together. And out here, you are pretty much on your own. Sometimes the coaches will call pitches, sometimes there will be tips, but for the most part, it's up to you. It's Madison Prim, previously of Lenore Rhine, where she was an All-American, hitting, I believe, a robust 553 this summer, Tom.
Yes. That's the thing too. You take a look at all these batting averages with these all-star players, they're all 450 or higher.
Yeah.
Against what has been probably, I think, overall our best pitching year here in the league.
There's Prim out to center field. Jay Hughes, the cowgirl, makes the grab, colliding with the fence. Crescio hightails at the third, 1 down, runners on the corners.
Nice catch in center, going back and getting that. And really good job of tagging up by Crescio as well, because it's easy to get halfway down the baseline thinking that's going to get over the center fielder's head. Stayed back and was able to tag.
And now, everybody buckle up. Alex Cutnelli, the regular season record holder in RBIs from the Loggerheads, steps in. Had 30 in 15 games.
Wow. I love it too. Old school, no batting gloves.
Shorts.
Yeah.
That's right.
West Coast Conference first team all selection, all West Coast selection this past year for St. Mary's. Down 0-2.
Yeah, St. Mary's had a good season last year.
That was every year Tom makes a pick. A little bit.
Off the beaten path.
Yeah.
A little bit.
He had St. Mary's going to Supers, and he was very close.
He was very
Yeah.
close. That's right.
Made it to the, wasn't it winner take all game 7?
Yeah.
Yes.
Game
Or
6.
game six, okay.
That's right. Yeah. A couple of upset games at Oregon, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Swing and a miss. There's the velocity from Duncan for out number 2.
That's a nice pitch moving away. It's got some nice spin speed on it.
And part of that mentality you were talking about too is, all right, you give up a walk and a hit by pitch your first 2 batters. Now coming back, got 2 outs and trying to get out of this without giving up a run.
Yes, absolutely.
Here's another one of yours, Gabby Castillo from Oklahoma State, representing the Circus. Ball 1 to her.
Well, Gray, you mentioned it too. You kind of used the reference of hand holding. It's it's kind of like riding a bike. At some point, you take the training wheels off, and you figure out that you actually can ride better without the training wheels, right? And so you become a more efficient cyclist without the training wheels. So it's the same thing for these athletes. You become a better hitter in the box when someone's not telling you where to look. You're learning to read the pitch out of the hand. You're learning to think, all right, what's the pitcher and catcher going to call against me? And all those things are part of your process of becoming a mature athlete.
Base running, knowing when to take that extra base. You talked about with Crescio tagging up there, that type of stuff. You're working on your softball IQ.
100%.
This would be pretty good from Mackenzie Duncan to get out of this. This has kind of been her MO this summer. Oop.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Now they're going to throw home. Chance to get her. And they do.
Nice defensive play.
And here we go, Michelle. We had the whole symposium about the new way obstruction is written. Crescio asked about it, but I think that was properly called. She had the ball before contact was made, and no obstruction for me.
Yeah, out by the mile, right? Isn't
Yeah,
it,
right.
Kind of the call.
She-
The ball was in her glove when she went down and made the block.
She's hosed is the call
Yes.
there.
Yes. The she's hosed clause.
Yeah, well, I actually think Crescio, she should have gone a little bit earlier, I think, on the throw down. She waited a little bit too long, and the first baseman had the easier throw to catch. To catch her, she probably would have been better off breaking when the throw was in a different position. Or
Well,
the ball was in a different position.
Before we get into the lineup for the surf, let's do what we love to do with Michelle Smith. Let's talk about some big picture stuff.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty close to Olympics 2028 in Los Angeles, which is actually in Oklahoma City. That could be another topic another time. But how? I know Team USA's got some stuff this summer. They've got the Japan series, and I think another event, and both rosters are pretty much completely different.
Yeah.
What stage do you think Patty Gasso currently is in building that Team USA roster and kind of feeling out who goes where?
I think it's still, at this point, a couple years out, the feeling out process. I think you have to kind of really hone in a year out, because it does take about a year for that team to really meld and gel together. And, we had that in '96, and 2000 was a little bit later for some different reasons, and I think it affected us. I think it's important for the 28 Olympics for that team to be picked no later than September of 27, just so all the athletes can really get their lives in order. You have to remember, these are professional women that have a lot going on in their lives. So to be able to schedule that year leading up into the Olympics in July of 2028, you've got to have the ability to plan things. Some of them are playing professionally in Japan, some of them are playing professionally in the U.S. and so being able to take care of the business side is going to be super important. But I think between now and basically the next year, between now and September of 27, it's a lot of really asking tough questions on who's dedicated, who's working hard, who's sacrificing, who is really arranging their life to make sure that they are going to be in the best possible position from the fall of 27 into the summer of 28 to be the best version of themselves. Because let's face it, Japan is the last 2 Olympic gold winners.
Right.
And if we want to win the gold medal and bring it home for Team USA in 2028, we're gonna have to have everybody on point. Coaches, athletes, every one of them.
You can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the last time in a quote-unquote game that mattered, USA beat Japan was, I think, the World Games 2022, right? Everything
Correct.
else Japan has won.
Yes.
Friendlies have been kind of
Yeah.
on
back
the
and
way
forth,
of the U.S.,
yeah.
but Garrett Griggs from Alabama is leading it off for the serve. Here's the lineup. Griggs, the shortstop from the Swashbucklers. Brantley Wortham, People's Choice Award, is on deck, the third baseman from the Slice. Libby J. Hughes, Oklahoma State Cowgirl, center field from the Swashbucklers, is batting third. Gracie Anderson, the catcher from the Snowbirds, bats fourth. Madison Hoffman, another Oklahoma State Cowgirl. A lot of Cowgirls in the
That's
league. We'll
right.
talk about that in a minute. Right fielder from the Swashbucklers, bats fifth. Belverady, DP in the 6 hole. A.D. Martinez, first base, bats seventh. Harley Chisholm and KB Bradshaw rounded out as Griggs powers that to left, but it's caught for out number 1. And they're facing, Michelle, the pitcher of the year, Carly Meredith, who redshirted this past year from UVA, 3-time Gatorade Player of the Year out of her home state with a 1.16 ERA in 36 and a third innings. I beg your pardon, I didn't want to do that. 19 hits, not 39. 19 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned, 11 walks, and 49 strikeouts.
Impressive again. Got a nice quick windup, good movement on the pitch.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on what Virginia has in the staff, but I would certainly think she's going to be a factor here after redshirting.
Wortham out to center field. 2 down. Well, and that's the other great thing I think this league provides, especially for pitchers. And a lot of coaches have asked me about this over the years, and I think every 2 and 3 or kids who redshirt should come here just to, if anything, get that vibe before you increase your role the next year at the college level.
Yeah, 100%. It's like I mentioned to the girls earlier when I was speaking to them. Back in the day, we went from college ball right into summer ball, women's major, and we played year round because we just knew that that's developmentally when you were going to really learn the most. You were going to continue to grow, and everything you learned in the spring, you were going to hone it in the summer, and then from the summer, you've already got a head start going into fall ball, and to me, I'm surprised more athletes don't do it. To be honest,
Unless you play a different role too.
yes.
Right.
Yeah, and so if you're a middle, maybe you play a corner, or if you're an outfielder, maybe play a little bit of backup infield. It just allows you to open up, stretch out your game a little bit. Pitchers get more work, as you mentioned. If you're redshirting, you need that. You need the experience of being able to throw in games to batters. There's always something to learn in this game. That's one thing. I've learned over the length of the career that I had. You're constantly learning every day, every practice.
Anytime
amazing.
you crack open the rule book.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, exactly. Appendix G.
Well, it is amazing how, you'll come and do 3 games a day or whatever. You'll see something every day that you probably haven't seen.
Yeah, which is nuts because you think you've seen it all as
Right.
much as you've been around the game, and then you realize, nope, not even close.
Just outside to JQ's. So the Cowgirl heads to first, and I wanted to send a shout out to your alma mater. I think Kenny Gajewski, throughout the years, has done a really good job of saying, hey, you had a role, you're going to have an increased role. You need to go and play in the summer and add a little bit more experience before you have that opportunity to take that increased role next year.
Yeah, and I think, part of that is, the baseball mentality. A lot of baseball players know that they're going to go play in a wood and bat league maybe sometimes in the summer. They just know that they're going to be playing in different leagues. There's so many different leagues when it comes to baseball. And so Kenny Gajewski is a baseball player himself, but now an outstanding, fast-pitch softball coach. He understands repetition and the ability to just be around the game.
Ooh. Just foul by Anderson.
Just how important that is. And I love that. I love that he knows that his kids are going to come back a better version of themselves, so he's got a better athlete that he's ready to coach when they show up on campus in Stillwater.
Good block by Castillo. 1-2 on Anderson, the All-Horizon League player out of Green Bay. Runner goes, and it doesn't matter because that's a swing and a miss, and Meredith has the strikeout to retire this side. You want to stay for one more half inning?
One more half inning, and
Okay.
then I got to jump on a board charity call. So
One more half inning with Michelle. We will get ready for the second inning and keep it here. I want to ask about the growth overall. I think we're seeing across all the various pro leagues, ratings are up, interest is up. I think more people are interested in playing pro softball. Obviously, the softball TV ratings are phenomenal, and we keep beating baseball at the World Series.
Yes.
But how do we keep this up? At some point, you do hit a ceiling. How do we make sure that we don't hit that ceiling anytime soon in college softball specifically?
Right. Well, I think we have to keep doing things the right way, and I think that's pace of play, right? I mean, nobody signs up to watch a 7-inning game that goes 3 hours. And so, yeah, I was a little worried about that, to be honest, this year with the amount of offense. And we were kind of talking about this before the broadcast here, before the game started, is that I felt like there was too much offense this year. There were too many home runs. The strike zone was too small, so the pitchers it was just deflationary in the sense that there's too many walks. And that's not compelling softball.
No.
Too many hit batters, too many walks. I mean, that's not why people sign up to watch a sport. And then when the ball does leave the yard, they're 2-run, 3-run shots. And so now you look like a football score instead of a softball score.
Right.
So I think we have to be better stewards of the game and make sure that the game is where it needs to be. 7 innings, if we can be in a 2-hour or 2:20 window or less, I think I think people can dedicate that amount of time of their life to be able to watch a really good softball game. I think it's the athletes continuing to grow and focus on the team aspect of the sport, and to me that's what's always been most important is that people come out to watch star athletes that play on great teams.
First pitch fouled away by Castillo. It's Castillo, Herber, and Molly Mitchell, 5, 6, 7, due up for the Sun here in the top of the second against Mackenzie Duncan.
What about you guys? What do you think about the sport? What continues to grow?
I think it's in a great spot. Some of the things, the issues, are all correctable, but the
Yes.
people just have to make the
Right decisions.
Make the right decisions to
when it
make
comes to
that.
rules and agreed.
Rules and strike zones are the main issues.
100%.
Which again, that is certainly correctable, and
I mean, I think even a slight change in the rule that the batter has to make an attempt to get out of the way of a hit pitch.
Yeah.
I really feel like that would be a small change that would be important because if there's any movement now, it's normally into the path of the pitch instead of away from the path of the pitch.
Right.
well, we had an issue. We had a thing, and I made this point. It was after the Appendix G situation in the World Series.
What a
2
time
years ago. What a
that
time it
was.
was.
Yeah.
Is that I think there were too many, whether it was coaches or players, were trying to win games on technicalities.
Yes. I
Instead of
agree.
just trying to win the game.
Yeah. Win the game on a base hit or a home run.
Correct.
Not on we caught you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it seemed as though this year there was a little bit of a shift in mentality. Maybe
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of made
I think
that
the way
adjustment.
that they've adjusted leaving early has helped with
100%.
that.
I was just going to say that was the
Yeah.
biggest one. That the
Yeah.
leaving early shouldn't be the technicality. Oh, we got
Yeah.
you. The home run
It's
comes
a-
off the board
right.
because the runner at second accidentally
It's a
stepped
grand
off the base.
it's a
early.
grand slam, but
Yeah.
it doesn't count because the runner left
Yeah.
half second early off second base.
Yes.
It didn't count. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
So that type of stuff, I was glad to see an adjustment made to that. I would like to see some of those adjustments made without it having to be some sort of major issue in probably the World Series is where that type of stuff happens.
Yes.
with you and Beth
Right.
and us
having to-
on the call.
Sitting there have to explain it for an hour after it
Yes.
happens.
when we're all trying to figure out what the heck it means.
Yes.
You're right.
I've got a couple thoughts on this as Cash Herber steps in from the rodeo. I think another thing mindset wise is this year there was exponential growth across the board. Regular season games were watched more, and I think a lot of it was the storylines that exude in football and basketball stretched into softball, and a lot of that, shout out, circulated around Texas Tech and kind of the way that the portal operated. And I think for a lot of us softball people who are so used to it being a certain type of way, we got to just kind of be okay with the way it is now.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who has really had a hard time reconciling that because I'm so used to softball not being what football and basketball is, and
Right.
we do it a different way. But it's also okay that it's being done this way, and it does, I think, bring in more of the non-traditional softball fans, which is at the end of the day what we want.
Right. Absolutely. That's how you get that growth, and you get the sport to become more mainstream as well as the athletes. And college sports in general are kind of the Wild West right now, and I think they have to figure out what they want college sports to be because it really is almost like a professional league at the collegiate level. I mean, when and we'll go back to football here, but when quarterbacks are making $2.5 to $5 million a year, they're making more in college than they will if they make the NFL and become a backup quarterback, unless they're obviously the Heisman Trophy winner. So, there's just a lot of things that go into this. I'm not saying athletes shouldn't, be able to be rewarded. They absolutely should be, but I just think there needs to be parameters on everything. And if you go in the portal and you transfer, then maybe it's got to be a 2-year commitment or whatever. At some point, there needs to be some sort of guardrails and rules so that you don't have an athlete going to 5 different schools in 5 years.
Herber out to left field, and there is the first base hit of the day for the Surf. 2 on, nobody out here in the top of the second.
Because as it is right now, it is like professional athletics, where everybody's a free agent after every year.
Yeah, which
and
is
that
ridiculous.
that can't no pro sports league operates
No.
like that.
Well, because the teams are not protected, and let's face it, as a quarterback or as a pitcher, a 7-foot center. You can't just pull that athlete out of your general population of the university. I mean, those are highly skilled positions that take years to recover from when one of those athletes leaves. So I think you got to protect the athlete, absolutely, but you also have to, protect the institutions, because at some point the institutions or the donors are going to get tired,
Right.
and the money's going to dry up, and when the money dries up, and sports go away, that's going to be that's going to be an unfortunate situation for everybody.
Molly Mitchell waits on the change and flies it out to left field. One down as the Georgia Bulldog goes. And, I will say one thing that has dropped this summer that we have not discussed at all is 5 for 5. And
Yes.
we're seeing, as we kind of talk about protecting the institutions and at the same time trying to protect the kids, there are a lot of big 27 classes who are every day losing people on Twitter because 5 for 5 has caused some roster shifting. What did you feel when you saw that news finally come out? I think everybody was anticipating it, but then it was finally decided.
Well, I think it's a good decision. I mean, let's face it. Some kids go to school, and softball it's not used a lot, but the red shirt. I mean, Lonnie Alameda, there were some institutions that did use almost like a gap year or a red shirt year to get their younger athletes ready. But if you have 5 years and unfortunately you have an injury, you'll have your 4 years of eligibility. If you go through college and you're very fortunate not to have an injury, you get a 50 of eligibility if you want it. In sports like softball, I think absolutely the athletes will use it because there's not enough money in the AUSL or in Japan or wherever. I think the kids stay in college for 5 years, especially if you're a pitcher. Or a catcher, or a really good offensive player. For basketball, I don't know that if it's going to matter a lot. I think, well, for football.
Well, they're the main thing is you're getting rid of the 29-year-old collegiate players.
Correct. So you've got a buffer on the downside and on the upside, and then I think it also saves the NCAA a lot of grief of each individual is a little bit different. Well, I had an injury, and then I got sick, and then I went on a religious mission, and all these things. And you're right, and all of a sudden you're a 29-year-old athlete.
We all have something. Yeah. So something happens to everyone, but
just simplify it. 5 years to have 5 years, So
it seems as though like the mentality once NIL and everything came into play, the mentality was let's get back at all these institutions that haven't paid us for 100 years when college athlete, and then at some point you're damaging yourself by trying to get what you're getting right now.
Yes.
So there has to be some sort of parameter that protects everyone.
Yeah, and there's a lot of institutions that, I mean, the best of the best in each sport are probably going to be able to raise funds. So let's say that's the top 25 teams in every sport. But outside that top 25, there's a lot of institutions that aren't going to be able to afford the massive budgets that it takes now to run an athletic department. And let's face it, too. If you're sending your kid to college, that's a big price tag.
Yes.
It is it is not cheap anymore to go to college, to play in college, to raise funds for foundations of these colleges, and
the scholarship was huge to begin with.
Yes, 100%. And I think people forget about that. I mean, a full ride scholarship, a roster spot was worth usually somewhere in the $125,000 to $170,000, depending on the institution you went to, and that's obviously the classes, the food, the board, the travel. People forget that, like what it costs for these teams, the uniforms, the coaching time, that they're getting to develop them as athletes, as student athletes. I mean, there's a cost in all that, and people forgot that is a big number without the NIL, and then you add the NIL on top of it, and it's even more. So, if you're a really good, college pitcher or shortstop or hitter, and let's say you're getting $100,000 in NIL, and let's say your roster spot's worth, let's just say $150,000, so now you're at $250,000. Are you bringing in $250,000 worth of value? Are you selling that many tickets for the institutions or shirts or anything like that? I mean, if that's a business, that business probably goes out of business, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're going to start looking at it in that manner, you got to look at everything.
Well, we saw just about everything from Mackenzie Duncan right there. A couple strikeouts. What a great job getting out of it after the first two batters reach. And that wraps up the top of the second and our time with our friend Michelle Smith. Michelle, I love every time I get to see you. When is it? It's July 8th, so we have, 6 months, 7 months?
Yeah, a ways, unfortunately. Hopefully we'll be back together. Well, a podcast. You got to invite me on.
Oh, for
So
sure.
there you go.
Yeah.
We got time.
Yeah, we basically did that today. And we'll do something else. Good to see you, Michelle Smith,
Great to
joining
see
us
you
for the
guys.
All-Star
Thanks
Game.
for all that you guys do for our sport of softball. I mean, you guys are superstars, so we always appreciate it. So got to throw the thanks back at y'all too. So.
We go to the bottom of the second inning, still scoreless. I just want to say again, thank you to our good friend Michelle Smith, who, like, I say that often whenever we have any guests anywhere, but like legitimately a dear friend of ours who
Oh,
we've
yeah.
gotten to know for the last decade, right?
Yeah.
And I think people don't realize how many things she has her toe dipped into.
Mm-hmm.
And you could hear kind of the business acumen. People forget, like, she's a prominent businesswoman in
Yes,
the
for sure.
St. Pete area. Madison Hoffman grounds that to second. Tough play, and that won't be in time. E4 will allow Hoffman to reach. And a base runner here in the second for one of the league leaders in batting average, Madison Hoffman.
I talk about it every time I watch baseball, but like a baseball player, like she's out because you have more time. In softball, you bobble it with a speed like that.
Now Belvarady out to center field, and look at this. Couple on, nobody out, just like in the top half of the inning. It'll be up to Carly Meredith to try and get out of this squirrely situation.
A couple of back-to-back swashbucklers, and we've seen both pitchers give up base runners but get out of it here through the first inning and a half.
Now, this is a young lady who was very, very impressive this summer for the Slice. A.D. Martinez hit .385, 13 RBIs, couple homers, 3 doubles, 10 runs. Was a prominent fixture in the lineup for Boston College last year, looking for a new home. I don't believe she's found one yet, or
Not
if
that
so,
I'm aware of, no.
hasn't told us.
But a lot of why the Slice are where they are because of the clutchness factor, what they did in late innings.
Right.
And A.D. Martinez was one of the main people that got the big hits in the 6th and 7th innings, sometimes the 8th inning for the Slice this season.
You know, I think what's interesting about the Slice, and we can talk about the bracket at some point during this probably lengthy show. It's the bottom of the second, and we've been going for 35 minutes. The Slice did not have a star. Do not have a star. But they've got a lot of really reliable hitters. And
Right.
that's why when we were talking about MVP, no one from the Slice came up.
Not really, no. I mean, people's choice was Brantley Wortham, the coach of the year, Brittany Purser.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it was just everybody going 1 for 3 or 2 for 3. And no black holes in the lineup.
Right.
And just had that, like I talked about, the clutch factor, and was able to get a big hit at the right time.
By
Or-
far the best seventh inning team in the
Yeah,
league.
or the right pitch at the right time.
That's the right pitch at the right time
Mm-hmm.
for Carly Meredith for out number 1.
Because one game I'm thinking of, just they were losing to the Sea Cows 3-2, and Sea Cows led for the majority of that game, but Sea Cows had numerous opportunities to put more numbers up, and the Slice did not allow them to do that. So they stayed close enough to where when they put it all together in the 7th inning, they only had to get one. They ended up hitting a grand slam, but they only had to get the one instead of having to have this huge comeback.
I do want to spin it back to something we were talking about with Michelle, you know, the college experience and all that jazz. She mentioned Lonnie Alameda.
Yeah.
And this is one of those players. Harley Chisholm, redshirted last year, comes up empty there on the pitch for Meredith. That could be a future matchup we see this year, which will be fun.
See that in the ACC for sure.
But I think like Lonnie, Kenny G, I think a lot of coaches try. Tim Walton sends some people. We know Murph sends people down here. A lot of coaches recognize the value for players like a Harley Chisholm or a Carly Meredith.
Yeah. We saw it in Florida, Caroline Stanton early enrolled at Florida, but redshirted this year, and she comes here and both hits and pitches. Because there's a difference between practice and games, even if you're not with your team, but you're playing in an actual game. You're getting actual reps, and that's huge.
This is KB Bradshaw from the Skeeters, one of the two Skeeters who cracked the All-Star lineup. App State Mountaineer. We do love some Boone.
Mm-hmm. The runner-up for both home runs in the regular seasons and home runs in the Home Run Derby.
Do you think we're going to get a home run in this All-Star game?
I do think so. Someone's going to get a hold of one.
2-2.
Because as we talked about before, if you're facing a pitcher that brings it with high velocity, if you do run into it and get a good swing on it, it can go.
It bolts.
It does.
It does scoot. Bradshaw hit 364 with a 500 OBP. Someone's fouled back. How about this? Let's go through the full line. 12 of 33, 13 RBIs, 6 home runs, a double, 18 runs scored. That seems like a lot.
Yes, it is.
And then, the 9 walks as well. 8 stolen bases, so valuable in about every facet. Some pretty strong outfield play at times as well. But a fielder's choice will end the inning.
Once again, we've seen both pitchers dance out of danger through the first 2 innings.
I would say through 2 innings, the All-Star game is giving.
Yeah, I would as well.
Let's go to the third.
I know you do it more so.
Yeah, every now and then. We'll be back. Here in the third inning, the new pitcher for the Surf is Belverady out of the Swashbucklers. Mackenzie Duncan went 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And Verady comes in with a 2.43 ERA, 3-1 record, 31 2/3 innings, 24 hits, 15 runs, 11 earned, 15 walks, 23 strikeouts. Going to Furman is Crescio at the top of the order, lines a base hit out to center field. Tom, I think, Verady she's portaled from App State going to Furman. I think what I like about Bell is when I watch her pitch, it's not flashy. There's not the stunning speed or the velocity of a Duncan, or she doesn't get a ton of the swings and misses as like Carly Meredith, but she is about as effective as anyone in this league at just getting people out.
Yes.
And even if there are base runners, like right here, there's the lead runner at second to get the first out. Great play by Griggs at short, and a textbook example of what I'm talking about, just finding a way to getting out.
Yeah, and she misses barrels. She will give up contact, but a lot of miss hits there and a lot of ground balls that can result in double plays or fielder's choices.
Here's Madison Prim. Flew out to center earlier.
And at the end of the day, that's what pitching is about. Pitching is about getting an out. You only get credited with a third of an inning if you get an out.
I think I was talking about this with Shannon Sale, too, the other day when she popped in with me. I think a lot of times fans get a little bit overly concerned with the how. Brady will... Oh, she took a look. We'll get the out at first for out number 2. I think a lot of fans concern themselves with the how when everyone on the field and in the dugout really doesn't care. It's about the that.
Correct.
It's like, let's get the out. Let's get the run in. However it happens, who cares? But we have to execute, whereas fans focus a little bit more on how it's done and how pretty it looks on a stat sheet. I'm not bitter or anything.
No. Well, as we mentioned on the podcast, stop complaining when we win.
When did we say that? Every episode.
Yes.
Cutnelli struck out earlier. She takes it low for ball 1. Where does Alex Cutnelli's season stand for you in the long storied 7-summer history of FGCL?
I think offensively, it is probably the best season I've seen.
I think statistically, yes.
Yes. I mean, the fact that 30 RBIs in 15 games is just absurd. The home runs were there. She wasn't far off from the batting average, becoming a Triple Crown winner, which we've never had in the FGCL. Like, the only negative was that where her team finished in the standings.
Right.
But
there could have been a deeper MVP conversation.
Right.
If they had come a little higher.
Correct. But Loggerheads had a very high team ERA, and that's just, I mean.
That'll squeak through. No, Griggs makes the stop, but Martinez abandoned first, and now another play at the plate. Beautifully done.
I thought, Griggs, had just saved a run by keeping it on the infield, but then to have the presence of mind to throw home. Second time in this All-Star game, Crescio has been thrown out at the plate. Great, and that was a great inning defensively by Garrett Griggs.
Couple hits, but that's it. And we go to the bottom of the third. We'll talk more. I want to ask another Alex Cutnelli question as we kind of. I like that we're turning back the clock a little bit here today. We'll discuss that more on the other side here at the All-Star Game at Paul Masola in Bradenton, Florida, FGCL. Gray and Tom. Garrett Griggs from Alabama will lead things off. Griggs, Wortham, and Jay Hughes here in the bottom of the third. What do you want to say about Garrett Griggs, Tom? It's not like we haven't had many times to chat about her.
Just athletically, as a freshman on a team that was a semifinalist for the national championship, was maybe the best athlete overall on that team. Just a very crowded infield at her spots.
Oh, she gets into it out to the gap, and that'll find its way to the fence. Garrett Griggs thinking 3. She will get 3 with ease. How about a leadoff triple here in the third?
And that's what she can bring. Speaking of her athleticism.
Yeah. Wow. That, by the way, off of the MVP who's just entered in the circle, Delaney Glover, a 157 ERA in 35 and 2/3 innings, 34 hits. She gives up hits, but not many runs. 10 runs, 8 earned, 7 walks, 35 Ks. Ball one to Brantley Wortham.
But in now a game, as we're in the bottom of the third, where there have been a lot of base runners. There have been base runners for both teams in scoring position. As far as gameplay now, the Surf has to capitalize in this situation. You got the leadoff man on third base.
Anything in play.
Yeah, you got 2, 3, 4 now due up.
Well, and if Wortham, which, again, I feel good about her in this position. If not Wortham, you've got Jake Hughes up next who could sneeze and get it deep enough to where Griggs is able to score.
Yeah. But Wortham just getting on base here, you're looking at not just one, maybe putting up a crooked number.
There's ball 4. So they're on the corners for Libby Jake Hughes.
Who during the home run derby hit one of the most impressive homers. Unfortunately, it was on one of her practice swings.
Right. I think all the practice swings, nearly all of them left the yard,
Right.
except for maybe Ariel Kruger,
Right.
who then hit them in her round.
Correct. 14 home runs and 20 swings that counted.
Crazy. All right, so we were talking about Cutnelly. I think, actually, if we were discussing this season, I think Jake Hughes would be in the mentions. Not necessarily best seasons, but scariest bats in
Yeah.
FGCL history.
Yeah, she's definitely up in there.
The first person I think of, honestly, is Layla Lamar from last year, Offensive Player of the Year. I just felt anytime she was up, you just felt like she was going to do something.
Yeah. And then in a smaller sample size, because she only played a week and a half, but Jay Beecham a couple years ago.
Yes.
Michaela Edenfield.
That was one of the OGs.
Yeah.
Saw her first game and knew
You're right.
this kid was special. Allie Harrell from the Skeeters.
Mm-hmm.
Early days as well. Oh, no. Throw down to second. Griggs will come in to score. And that's called manufacturing right there.
And that's something you'll see every once in a while in an all-star game. Like, these are two infielders that don't play together on a regular basis, and just a miscommunication on that throwdown.
3-2. I was looking at the scorebook. Who are we charging the error to?
I think 4.
Okay. E4.
Yeah. As we wait for more game balls to be thrown in.
The tale as old as time.
Game balls plated gold.
If you search an endangered species list, you would see, some beautiful animals from
Sure.
around the world, and then also FGCL game balls. Jake Hughes, good gracious, out to right. That'll fall. Mitchell couldn't find it. Wortham is motoring around for home. Jake Hughes is at third, and she's going to try and score. Why not? What in the world? Libby Jake Hughes makes it 3-0, Surf ahead.
And there was no error there. That's an inside the park home run. It hit off that right field fence and bounced far away from the right fielder who was trying to track it down. And then Libby says, you know what?
Why not?
Don't give a rip.
All-star game. Wow, so 3-0, 3 runs in on the 2-run inside the park home run by Jake Hughes, who almost, by the way, caught up with Brantley Wortham.
Yes.
Gracie Anderson struck out in the first. That's foul. I think what I love the most about watching Libby Jake Hughes, and again, I wish I'd gotten to see her more this summer because she kind of joined us halfway. she is built like a tank. She's got power for days. She was a shot put champion in high school, but she's also, as we just saw, very quick, moves very well. Which, I mean, just looking at her,
Right.
you wouldn't think that she
Yeah.
would be one of the faster people on this field, but she is.
It'd be hard pressed for me to see a better athlete on the roster at Oklahoma State.
Yeah. Anderson, that'll head foul. 1-2.
So now if you're Delaney in the circle, you've given up a triple, a walk, and an inside the park home run. You just got to find an out or two here.
Yeah. Meredith, by the way, in her start, went 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 3 Ks. Typical Carly Meredith stuff.
Sure. Brittany Purser, not a lefty. She just had to throw with her left hand.
She's got a T in her right hand. That's off the end of the bat, and that's going to be a hit again. I really don't know how Anderson hit that as squarely as she did. And now you've got Madison Hoffman, another Oklahoma State Cowgirl that I think could do just supreme damage for the Cowgirls this year. Reached on an error in the second.
The Big 12, since Texas and Oklahoma left, has become more wide open. You know, obviously we have what Texas Tech is doing, but sometimes forgotten about it is the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, and they're always right there. And everyone's again going to be talking about Texas Tech, and rightfully so, but Oklahoma State's going to be in that conversation in the Big 12.
Yeah, the biggest question for them, and they filled in a little bit, tried to, added Delaney Everett out of the portal, but Ruby Malin is not there to bail them out anymore.
Right.
They are going to have to utilize the other arms. We've seen a couple of those in this league. Michaela Smith, I think, had some moments this summer. Hoffman draws the walk, but pitching will be by far the biggest question mark for the Cowgirls this year.
Mm-hmm. That means they might have to win some games 9-8.
No, it's happened before.
Sure. We've seen the All-Star Cowgirls in this game. They also have Montgomery Henderson, who's played here.
Yep.
Had a good season as well. So
Verady in the air to right. I think we're going to get that first out of the inning. Anderson scoots to third. Good base running there. 1 down.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I looked down again, and Madison Hoffman did a thing.
No one was on the second base bag, and Cash Herber was hand delivering the ball back to Glover. Heads up play. Take the extra bag.
I remain impressed by her. So now 2nd and 3rd for A.D. Martinez.
As we talked about before, these are the type of situations where A.D. Martinez has had big hits all year long.
Well, these are the type of situations where the Slice have had big hits all year long, and I think it's kind of fitting that in this moment you've got a Slice batter up.
Mm-hmm.
This game is very much, I think, the team with the Slice players is kind of playing like the Slice have this summer. Oh no, Prim couldn't glove it. A run will score, and everybody's safe on the E5. As this inning has devolved just a bit for the Sun.
textbook example of running before you catch the ball, basically. There, she was ready to come up throwing to try to get the runner at home, and took her eye off the ball before she had in her glove.
We got no RBI on that?
You can give an RBI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Adi Martinez, RBI. We did it. Ball one to Harley Chisholm. She struck out on 3 pitches in the second. Let's talk about Harley Chisholm for a minute. I think what I like most about her is it is quite clear how much softball means to her every time you watch her step on a field.
And you're looking at a Florida State team, obviously losing Isa Torres on the infield there, and Jay Beecham on the infield there, but somebody like Chisholm is going to be very important to step in.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about some of the new recruits coming in, and rightfully so. They got a really good class.
Sure.
However, Chisholm is good, and she can do this too. We've seen a lot of Knowles, great Knowles, over the years, kind of do what Michelle was talking about earlier. Take that quote-unquote gap year, that redshirt year, and then go and show up and show out. Mostly they've been catchers, but
Yeah.
we got a little more pitcher infield love in that case this year.
Yeah, well, the number one example of that, the before mentioned Michaela Edenfield.
Bella Ruggiero last year.
Yeah. But getting not only all the reps that Chisholm has gotten here in the FGCL, but having the success that she's had here is going to be huge for her when she goes back to Tallahassee.
Oh, yeah. Here is KB Bradshaw. I believe. I'll double check.
It is.
Just to make sure. Okay. We're not at rotation time quite yet. Bradshaw hit into a fielder's choice that wrapped up the second inning.
We saw Taylor Pinnell come out and talk things over with Glover before this at-bat.
Ooh, the conversation must have worked. 3-pitch K for Glover for out number 2.
Now Garrett Griggs will come up, who got this whole mess started earlier in the inning, leading it off with a triple.
Yeah, remember that? That was
Yes.
this inning, Tom. And I think what's interesting, every year that we've done this, I think outside of postseason, like later in the postseason, early postseason, everybody's like almost too exhausted to get nervous. But I think you see a lot more nerves in this All-Star game than you would ever think. Griggs, well hit to center field, and it's caught right up against the fence by Crescio. Oh, boy. Inning over. It's a big inning, though, Tom.
Yeah, we talked about with Garrett Griggs, the athleticism and, the power. She's got all the tools and almost really put this one away with a grand slam there. Fell just short. But what an inning for the Surf as they are able to capitalize on those base runners.
Yeah, they got 4 runs, and I believe all of them are earned. Yep. Pretty sure. So we move on. If not, I'll double check. Either way, we'll see how the Sun can respond as we go to the 4th here on Field 2. New pitcher in the ball game for the Surf. It's Amelia Jacob. I've really liked watching her this summer. USF Bull, who this summer has a 181 ERA and a 4-0 record. 31 innings, 24 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned, 10 walks, 22 strikeouts. Did not get a ton of options and opportunities last year, but I think it's going to be useful for USF this season.
Yeah, similar to what I was talking about with Meredith at Virginia. I'm not an expert on what their staff looks like, but I would be surprised if we're not seeing significant innings from Jacob.
Starting on with Castillo, Herber, and then Mitchell. Dirty, 1 and 2.
Like another pitcher that doesn't do a whole lot flashy, but just
Right.
gets outs.
And again, it's so interesting the way the slice season has moved around. If you had asked me, that's hit over to short. Griggs stays down. Good throw. If you had asked me about a week and a half in to kind of layer this slice pitching staff, I probably would have told you Amelia Jacob was their number 3.
Yeah,
And
probably.
as we go into the postseason for the regular season champs and the top seed slice, she's by far the number 1. Like, not close.
Mm-hmm.
And that's no disrespect to the other pitchers, but Jacob has been that dominant as the season has gone on.
If you have a sub-2 ERA in a summer league,
Mm-hmm.
you're pitching really well.
Yes. Cash Herber singled in the second.
And we saw the Slice coach, Brittany Purser, the coach of the year, have a pitching plan for virtually every game and stuck to it, and it worked. And I think all the pitchers really responded well to it.
Cash Herber is paying off this all-star selection. Out to the gap, and she will glide in safely to second with a 1-out double.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Thank you. My wordplay is my best strength. Real quick, we got the first base cam. Let's flash it over here to Aubrey Yarnell, the humanitarian award winner on camera.
Of course.
Yes, just wanted to give her a little love. I think everyone, certainly behind the scenes, and I hope the players felt it too, but I think we all agree that none of this would be A, feasible, and I think B, tolerable without Yarnell,
Yeah.
who has constantly made me laugh every day, sometimes when I need it the most.
Had a great attitude the entire, and did her job and did the other duties as assigned, even when they weren't specifically assigned to her all year long. First one here, last one to leave. Made sure everybody had water, which
Yeah.
is vital.
I cannot explain how important that is. That one's high to Molly Mitchell. Molly Mitchell, another one interesting. She flew out to left earlier. She is entering a second year at Georgia where she will have a chance to be an everyday starter. That's fly ball to right, and that's tailing all the way to the gap. That took an odd path. Herber races around third. She'll score. And back-to-back doubles. Sun on the board here in the fourth.
The Sun with a response stat.
I wish she'd waited a pitch because I wanted to talk about her, but because if you look at Georgia, their whole outfield is being replaced.
Yeah. Right.
So Molly Mitchell is going to get a look. A long look, I think. Hello, Coach Baldwin. Strike one to Ariana O'Connell at Illinois Chicago, who struck out in the second.
I think all the Bulldogs here.
Yeah. I think our friend producer Emma Castori, has proven to be a pretty effective Swiss Army knife here. I've seen her play short, second, first, and right and left field. She's basically done everything but catch and pitch.
But when it goes back to their college teams, it's all about the roster composition and
Right.
who's there, who's available.
O'Connell pops us up. Catch made by Chisholm for out number 2.
Because we saw that at Alabama this past year. Garrett Griggs is talent-wise an SEC starter,
Yep.
but the infield very crowded with other SEC starters.
And
and
the outfield
All-Americans.
became crowded. I think a lot more crowded than we anticipated as the year started.
Right.
Mia Richards fouls that away.
That's what we're talking with Michelle Smith about. When you're on a college team, you have a defined role, and that's where you settle into. But when you come to a place like the FGCL, you can expand on that and really stretch yourself. Because in the regular season, we try to even out all the at-bats, even out all these opportunities, so you're going to get your shot.
And really the only way to do that is to put people in places they're probably not comfortable.
Right.
Or where they don't play a ton. I've seen Mia Richards in the outfield. I think if we talk to her, she'd probably say more of a first baseman, more of an infielder.
Right.
Richards in the air towards left center. Pretty well hit, and on the run, the catch is made to get out number 3. Nice job by Megan Towery to end the threat, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. 1 run in for the Sun. Surf will try and respond themselves.
But the Sun did get on the board. They did respond, so now you get a goose egg in this half inning, and you're right back in it.
Who knows? New pitcher coming up. We'll tell you about her next.
We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Surf with a 4-1 lead over the Sun. Brantley Wortham leading things off for the Surf. Against a new pitcher for the Sun, the River Mock, Bryn Chihilo. Trujillo had a 4-1 record for the River Mocks this year. 32 and 2/3 innings pitched. Gave up 13 runs, 11 earned, a 2.36 ERA. 29 hits, 21 strikeouts to 14 walks. And Wortham draws the walk to start things off. Her second walk of the day. No. We'll bring up a new batter. Lone Impact representative, Megan Towery. Fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. And that one's driven Deep left center field, back, and gone. There's the home run. First over the fence home run of the day in the same spot where Libby Jacques hit inside the Parker. Megan Towery, a 2-run shot.
Well,
Welcome back, Gray.
I'm back just in time.
I'll let you put it into your book the way that you do.
Don't we love?
Smooth.
Yes. So it's 6-1. After the Wortham walk, yes.
Yes.
You know who's really consistent? Megan Towery.
Yes. For an impact squad that struggled a bit with consistency this year,
Mm-hmm.
she was a steadying force.
I think if I were a coach, I would want 9 Megan Toweries.
Yes.
Mentality-wise, I think she's got a ton of game. We've seen it over multiple years. I think Belmont Abbey, like, you got a stud. Tough start for Trujillo,
Yeah.
now facing Gracie Anderson, who takes the first pitch out towards left center. Back-to-back jacks. I get to call 1-2 as Gracie Anderson leaves the yard, and it's 7-1 Surf. They've busted this open here in the bottom of the 4th.
As I said, you got to run. You need to put up a goose egg, and the exact opposite has happened.
Back to back to back. Here's Hoffman.
That's the thing, especially in an all-star game, that type of stuff can happen. Because everybody that you face will likely have the pop-ability.
Popability.
Pop-ability.
Nice.
Just came up with it.
Very good. Shout out to you. Ball 1. That hits her. So earlier I did tell everybody that run rule was in play.
Yes.
I also said that thinking we've literally never
That's
had
never,
that.
never been a situation. It's back in play now.
Yeah. I would kind of hate that for the kids that didn't get to play, but I don't know, play worse, I guess. First pitch foul by Verady, 0-1. She's 1 for 2 with a single and a flyout. Breaking news, Tom.
It's possible an executive decision might be being made.
Go 1. There you go. There's first out. I was a little like, let's not get cute here. Let's
Yeah.
get the out.
there are whispers of the suspension of the run rule.
I think I'm okay with it. It's
Yeah.
an all-star game.
Yeah.
I think all of I mean, like, I'm looking at the lineup here. There are some kids on the Surf who weren't going to come in until the 5th inning,
Right.
which wouldn't happen if this got to. Now, again, we're also not there yet,
Right.
so 1-1 on the Big East Freshman of the Year, Keegan Mayhew.
The lone Queen representative on the team.
Probably the steadiest bat, I would say, throughout the summer. Hit 320 in the regular season. Oh, boy.
Oh.
Mayhew, tank, bye, 2-run homer. Well, now that executive decision will need to come into play. 9-1 here in the bottom of the 4th. And a pitching change is imminent as Trujillo exits and Presley Downing comes in. But, Tom, we saw the All-Stars play like All-Stars offensively for the Surf.
I think a very important thing right now will be for Bryn Trujillo to flush that, because she's going to be very important for the River Mocs in the playoffs.
Yes.
She just ran up against some of the best bats in the league, and they got her. That happens.
And now Presley Downing is going to play at North Texas, comes in. 2.24 ERA. 25 innings, 26 hits, 10 runs, 8 earned, 7 walks, and 29 strikeouts. Oklahoma State transfer going to UNT. What do you like about Presley, Tom?
Well, just another a baller type player. Just whatever is asked of her, that's what she does. Like in this situation, it'll be all right. Just keep the run, keep them where they are, and give our offense an opportunity.
It's a 5-run inning for the Surf. Run rule is off the table. We have made the decision, no run rule in this game. Which this is the one time where I'd be like, yeah, let's go.
Right.
I agree. Any other game, let's do a regular standard run rule.
Yes.
Chisholm fouls that away. Harley Chisholm is 0 for 1. Strikeout and a walk today. It is very interesting, though, that as we kind of get ready for the postseason, I don't know how much to read into it. It's an all-star game. Chisholm fly ball towards center. Sophia Jen, I believe, is there for out number 2. But 2 pitchers who have really struggled today are both on the Mocs.
Yeah. It's not just Trujillo, but Glover also is going to have to flush today. And it might be a situation where having Chloe Evans as their coach is going to be very helpful, because I think she's going to know what to say and how to get the players in the right mindset after this game.
I think that's one of Chloe's real talents. KB Bradshaw takes that high. She's 0 for 2. I think Chloe has a lot of experience here. We know Chloe very well, but she does connect very, very well with players in this league. She knows how to talk to them, knows what they need, because I think she's kind of heard it all from a little bit of everybody. She's been everywhere.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe next inning we do some bracket talk,
Yeah.
because playoffs start tomorrow. Single elimination, everyone makes it.
I should probably send the broadcast schedule.
That'd be a good idea.
It's up and away, 2-1. Yeah, everything starts at 9:30. We'll dive into that. 9:30 local. That'd be Eastern. 6:30 Pacific, 8:30 God's time zone.
Correct.
Good pitch, 2-2.
I love being down here, but one of my favorite things.
Is going back.
Well, no, but one of my things about going back is when you cross over into the Central Time Zone and you make those changes into God's time zone.
That is my favorite part of any road trip for us coming back from the East Coast. Knoxville, Athens, Columbia, any of those, or Lexington, getting that hour back is so crucial.
Everything just starts so late.
Yes, including our departure time when that's the
Yeah.
case. Never forget when we got home at like 3 a.m. from Knoxville this year.
It's fun times. Trying to watch USA Soccer at 10 o'clock at night. What are we doing?
What's going on?
Literally, that's the goal in soccer.
Oh. You done for the day?
You're-
Is that okay? This is no longer your pitch, babe.
Oh, no.
Somebody is better.
Multiple people better.
The payoff from Downing. Oh, our play. Nope, over our heads.
One thing about our perch, we don't have to really protect the equipment
No.
from balls. Do have to protect the equipment sometimes when a flash flood type rain comes through. That's been about it.
It's about protecting the vehicles out here.
Yes.
Pretty pitch from Downing. That's what she can do. But it's a 5 spot here in the fourth. Again, run rule not in effect. The Sun can wipe that out with a response when we come back here at Field 2 at Palmasola. Well, if the phrase is fight winner, the Surf has the Sun down on the mat. However, no run rule. It's 9-1. Sophia Jen, then Evans and Prim. We'll see if the subs are coming for the Sun against Meals, Amelia Jacob in the circle. Sophia Jen. Before we get into postseason talk, I want to talk about the Stanford Cardinal stepping in now, because she is one of the most interesting players I've seen this summer. I think she is by far the best bunter here.
Yes. She can place a ball better than anybody I've seen.
But she does it in a way I've never quite seen before. It's almost like a deadened check swing. It's very rarely the bunting that we're used to seeing.
Right. Yeah, she doesn't really square around, but she doesn't really slap either. You're right. It's an interesting technique, but it's very successful.
Three and one. Jen this summer is batting .471. OBP pretty good too, and this won't improve it because these stats don't matter. But she's on base to kick off the fifth inning. For the Loggerheads, who have an interesting path in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
It's an elegant segue.
Well done.
Delaney Glover is going to hit here. MVP, MVP, MVP. It's me chanting.
Good job.
Strike one. We'll go over what the Loggerheads have in a minute. Here is the schedule tomorrow. We kick off at 9:30 immediately with first round games. Field 1 over there. It'll be the 11 seed Impact against the 14 seed Sea Cows. Any analysis there, Tom?
I think the Sea Cows are playing better right now. Impact seem to find ways to lose by 1 or 2 runs every game, whether it's a high scoring or low scoring. But they also are very capable. So I think that's going to be a fun game to start things off.
Be very interested to see the pitching plan for the Impact and for the Sea Cows, frankly. I would assume we're getting a Gaskell, Taryn Newton situation.
Sea Cows won 2 of their last 3.
So that'll be at 9:30 on field 2 right here at 9:30 tomorrow. 12 seed Queens, 13 seed Skeeters.
I have a feeling that's going to be a off the rails game, one way or the other.
Here's the other thing about the Queens, because it has not been a very strong offensive summer. As Glover chases the change,
It has not been giving runs.
No, or hits. But Ashley Treeweiler has also been very steadfast in this is the pitching plan and this is how it's going to go. And if you're struggling, I'm not going to be like, you're going to get your innings.
Figure this out.
I could see a world where her giving Avery Dockery the ball and saying, go get it, girl.
Mm-hmm.
As Prim goes to get it out towards right. Catch made. 2 down. I could see where there could just be a little bit more steadiness there for the Queens. But it's going to depend on how Dockery pitches.
Right. And then, the Skeeters have a very capable offense when it gets rolling.
Right.
And if they get rolling, then it could.
Cutnelli out towards left. That'll be caught. So inning over. We'll keep it here. Keep chatting about the postseason. Good job by Amelia Jacob. Stranding the leadoff walk. I think for the Skeeters, the biggest key is going to be, because they've got a lot of pitchers who kind of all provide the same statistical profile.
Right.
So when it starts to turn a little bit, how quickly is Morgan Kostler ready to make the change?
Mm-hmm. And does that, and that's the thing for everybody, how different is that plan in the postseason as opposed to what it was during the regular season? Because there is the more of the figure it out mindset during the regular season. We're sticking with this particular plan unless they've scored 10 on you or something, or even when someone's throwing no hitters. Hold on, Brittany's talking to me. Yes. No. I mean.
Top of the order here in the 5th. Yes, Tom?
Everything's fine.
Okay, great.
We were just checking to make sure a couple things.
Griggs, Wortham, and Towery against Downing. This will be fun, I think. As we continue to look at the postseason bracket. So, that's the 9:30 window. The noon window tomorrow, Field 1, it's a 7-seed Rodeo against the 10-seed Snowbirds, and I can't help but think we're going to get a matchup just like we got to start this All-Star game.
Yeah.
Mackenzie Duncan in the circle for the Snowbirds, Carly Meredith in the circle for the Rodeo. The top 2 pitchers in this league, I think, by far. Like, get your popcorn now.
And we saw it in these first 2 innings. There was base runners, but they got out of jams.
There's Griggs to left, and that's caught by Glover. MVP showing the glove in the outfield.
And that's now back-to-back 2 flyouts for Garrett Griggs that could easily have been base hits.
Yeah. She's 1 for 4, and
Right.
like expected hits is 2.5 out of 4 or
Correct.
something.
Yeah.
A stat I learned during this World Cup. That's a thing. Expected goals.
Oh.
This ball went to Brantley Wortham, who's 0 for 1, fly out, and a pair of walks and runs scored.
U.S. needed more expected goals against Belgium.
It was like .67. They
Yeah.
scored 1. The expected goals was .67.
So they were shocked they scored 1.
Yes.
Is basically what
The math
stats
said they shouldn't have. Wortham gets into it
Oh.
out towards center. That's pretty well
Mhm.
hit. And Jen is there at the base of the wall for out number 2. Kind of the tale of Brantley Wortham's day today,
I was gonna
sadly.
say that's what happened to her in the home run derby too. Which makes me think she's gonna get one in the postseason.
Oh, 100%. The narrative has been laid. Towery did get one earlier. Nice little 2-run shot in the 4th. So how many runs do you think it'll take to win Rodeo Snowbirds? 2?
2 to
Those
3.
are also 2 offenses that are middle, lower of the pack in
Right.
the FGCL.
Right. So that's why I was thinking 2, maybe 3.
And then you want to see the opposite. Field 2, noon window, Loggerheads and Finns.
Yeah, that's gonna be at least one, if not both teams in double digits. Those are the 2 teams that played the 24-20 game.
Yes.
It's not great for keeping on time.
No, I was here for a while, but it was fun.
Sure.
It was not a slog. Oh boy, Presley Downing, hello.
Yep.
She's come in and quickly gotten 5 outs to send us to the 6th. We'll keep it here. That's a very effective inning by Presley Downing. So Finn's Loggerheads. I think the thing the Loggerheads run into, I think they only have 2 pitchers available.
Yeah.
And the Finns have been getting hit hard lately. I don't know.
The problem is
My guess says first to 12 wins.
Yeah. And like the Finns had a really tough last 2 weeks of the season. But even during that time, they scored a lot of runs on Loggerheads.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really interesting and tough matchup for both those teams.
And then we move on to Field 1, the 2:30 window. The Aquanauts, the 6th seed, will take on the winner of the Impact Sea Cows. Whoever it is, I think honestly one of the great comeback stories of this summer is an Aquanauts team that I frankly just didn't think was very good. About a week and a half in, watching them, I wasn't sure kind of how they were going to win ball games. They've lost an arm. Bree Hopkins is not available for the
Right.
postseason. They've got 2 pitchers, and yet right now they're playing their best softball. Kira Caro has thrown really well in the last couple outings.
Yeah, I mean, she picked up 2 wins yesterday, and because the Aquanauts won their game, and then had to finish their suspended game against the Rivermocks, and Kara Carroll got the win in the first one, and then finish off 8 total innings in that game against Rivermocks, only giving up 1 run
Yeah.
against a really good offense in the Rivermocks. So that was very impressive. So the Aquanauts may be the hottest team outside of the top 4 entering postseason play. If not them, probably the team in the other game at 2:30.
Which we'll talk about in a minute. Brooke Pashota from the Loggerheads will get her first AB today. That one fouled.
Is it another new pitcher?
Yes, Kate Daly is coming to pitch as well. No time to dilly-dally. Kate Daly has officially announced she is going to be an Oregon Duck after portaling over from BYU. Guess I should probably read her stats.
That's a interesting addition to the
Yeah.
Duck pitching staff.
I like the stuff, and I think, again, I think a lot of the some of the statistical issues for Daly could be just attributed to rustiness.
Yeah.
She, didn't play last year, is kind of finally healthy after dealing with some injuries. 3.42 ERA. Pashota fouls or actually lines it out to left. It stayed fair. 1 down. 30 and 2/3 innings, 28 hits, 25 runs, 15 earned, 14 walks, and 33 strikeouts. And here is Avery Knoll out of Liberty, who is as... Oh, wow, a crow almost flew in here. Who is as clutch as anyone. And Avery Knoll plays for the Circus.
Segway.
Yes, the 2:30 window on field 2. Circus takes on the winner of Queens and Skeeters. Look, we obviously do not have odds makers here. But I would say of all of the potential games, potential and scheduled games tomorrow, I really don't care who they're playing. The biggest favorite will be the Circus against either the Skeeters or the Queens.
Probably so. You know, the Circus lost their first 6 games by like a total of 8 runs.
We were all concerned but not worried.
Right. And then finished up at 8-2 to finish up 500. And yeah, they are really primed, and as we talked about, even during that 6-game losing streak, they're going to be underseeded in the playoffs, which might be an advantage for them.
They've got the most All-Stars of anyone here.
Right.
They came in 5th. They have the most All-Stars.
This is all whether their pitching just needs to hold up.
Right. It's grounded foul. Full count. All right, so you noticed there are 4 teams whose names were not called.
Yes.
They're chilling tomorrow. Full day off, which I think of any postseason we've ever done here, this year that is the biggest advantage.
Mm-hmm. And we had really 4 teams separate themselves record-wise to get those 4 byes.
We kick off Field 1 on Friday at 9:30. It'll be the 4-seed Squeeze taking on the Circus, Queens, or Skeeters. I think, again, prognostications would probably suggest we're going to get a Squeeze Circus matchup. Last time they played, the Squeeze led by 4 multiple times until the Circus came back. As Dally gets a strikeout, 2 down. Nasty drop.
That was really nice.
But then the Circus came back and won 12-9. And I think we could be in for another blockbuster between those two early in the day.
Absolutely. That's going to be another one where a difference in how you use your pitchers in postseason as opposed to during the regular season could be big.
Presley Downing, first pitch, tailing. Fair ball. 2-out single. Just kind of found a spot. And Downing, in her first AB of the game, has a base hit. Which brings up O'Connell here in this Circus Squeeze Palooza. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I think a lot of how that game goes will be determined by what Claire Ginder decides to do the day before. I think the Circus will be able to beat no matter who they play on Friday without Presley Downing in the circle. I think you can get away with it. You definitely need Presley against the Squeeze.
Right.
Who does Taylor Pinnell start? She's got 3 arms that are pretty similar. My gut would say Tori Payne, but we'll see.
And what we've seen from Payne this summer is she has had some outings where she has been absolutely dominant and shutting people down. But she's had a few creep up where she's given up some big numbers.
Right. That's upstairs. O'Connell's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a pop-out.
Which may be where that extra day of rest will come into the most amount of effect.
And it might help her that she wasn't an all-star.
Right.
An extra day of rest in that regard as well. That's sent towards some vehicles. Watch out. All right. 2-2. Everybody's fine. Where'd you park today?
In that area, but further down.
Okay, nice.
So.
Not just a hat rack, my
No.
friends.
Not my first rodeo.
Talk about the other game in the 9:30 window after this pitch. This is again Friday.
No.
Ooh, look out. That'll be a wild pitch. Brooke Bennett, by the way, is behind the plate, catching now. So the other 9:30 game, Field 2, again on Friday, it's the top seed Slice taking on the winner of Loggerheads Fins. Strength on strength, either way. A potent offense versus a Slice pitching staff that has been super reliable. Their offense just kind of gets it done.
Yeah.
Beautiful pitch by Daly. Change up. Second strikeout of the inning.
A great time to break out the change piece.
We love the change piece. To the bottom of the 6th. We'll stay here.
I think literally the only thing that concerns me with the Slice is, I just talked about a little while ago, playing like the Sea Cows and the Sea Cows having lead in the 6th inning, is kind of playing with fire a little bit, relying on the clutchness, as opposed to putting people away.
You know, it very much reminds me of the Squeeze team. I think it was 22, the Riley Boone year, where so much of their game was built around like they're just gonna find the runs late. They're
Right.
they didn't really crush a lot of people. Now, note them a Slice. They've played some of their best offensive games the last couple hours.
That is correct. Yes.
But that Squeeze team got into the losers bracket back when we did double elimination very early and tried their best to claw out, got to the semis, and then fell to, I think, Blake Nelliman and the Finns. You don't have that here. There's not that margin for error where if you make a mistake, if it doesn't happen, you've got time to recover.
Correct. So, the Slice should win. The Slice should be there, but we will certainly see.
New pitcher is Taryn Newton, also going to North Texas. Member of the Sea Cows, representing. 2.53 ERA, 27 and 2/3 innings, 3-2 record, 29 hits, 12 runs, 10 earned, 8 walks, 17 Ks, and probably has the best drop ball here.
So that's going to be a FGCL heavy pitching staff for North Texas.
Yeah.
Maggie Place also heading that way.
And yet they never came here. It was just a coincidence.
Right.
They just
happened to find them. So that's be an interesting follow. For
Also
the FGCL tractor on the Out of the Box podcast.
Oh, of course. Where we will also follow Brooke Bennett, who's going to South Carolina. She takes ball 1. Bennett plays for that Finns team that we talked about. Other 2 games, we haven't talked about 2 teams in the noon window. On Field 1 at noon, on Friday, this is again quarterfinals. The 2-seed River Mocs will take on the winner of Rodeo Snowbirds.
That could be an interesting matchup.
I think a lot of it depends on how taxing the day prior is
Mm-hmm.
for some of those aces. Duncan has thrown a lot.
And as far as the Snowbirds go, Duncan will have to be with the pitcher, I would
Yes.
assume. Rodeo, a little bit deeper of a pitching staff.
Mm-hmm. But they haven't really had to ride Carly Meredith. I'll be interested to see how she handles that if that's the plan. That's off the glove of Prim. And an E5. Puts Brooke Bennett aboard.
And now the other thing, for the River Mocs, like we talked about, how quickly are the pitchers for the Mocs able to flush what happened today? How much does it affect them? Maybe nothing at all. Because as with this game, it's a lot of fun. Stats don't count.
We keep a book, but at what
Right.
cost? Tatarski from the Skeeter. Sydney Tatarski fouls that off, 0-2. You know, and I think the other thing that I'm still kind of waiting on, I still don't feel like I've seen the Mocs play their best.
Right.
Their team batting average is suspiciously low for what I think is one of the most loaded rosters.
And that's a team that won 8 in a row before they dropped that last game to the Aquanauts.
Right. I actually think yesterday was as close as I've seen against the Squeeze, and
Yeah.
then they lost that game to the Aquanauts. So you wonder a little bit about the yo-yo-ness at times. That's off the glove of Newton, and everyone's going to be safe. That'll be a hit for Tatarski. First and second, nobody out for Verady, who's 1 for 3. Last one is Belverady's team. Field 2 at noon. The Swashbucklers take on that triumvirate of Aquanauts, Impact, and Sea Cows. I would look at this as a pretty good draw for the Swashbucklers, even as the 3.
I think I agree. Depends on if the Aquanauts are able to continue what they've done in the last week or so.
They just feel like the Aquanauts, a total wild card here.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I'm gonna see much from them beyond Friday, but I can't guarantee that
Right.
because I've seen them pull performances out that I just didn't know that they were capable of.
And I think in general, with this playoffs this year, I think it's either going to go 100% chalk or there's going to be multiple upsets.
Uh-oh. Tatarski will head back to second. Had a quick chat with everyone.
But there is, we talk about it every year. There's usually a team that'll make a run that you're not expecting. And usually it's a team that plays in those first 2 games that kind of makes, at least wins 1 if not 2. But in a year where we've had the top 4 separate themselves so much, and then everybody else being so similar and pretty even, maybe that leads to there not being as many upsets. We'll see.
Well, I'll ask you this. Who feels like, as Verady draws the walk, bases loaded, who feels like the prime candidate to be that day 1 runner who maybe gets to the semis?
So this is like anybody not in the top 4?
Yeah, and I'll exclude the circus as well.
Yeah. I would say either the Knots, the Rodeo.
Rodeo was my thought.
The offense worries me for the Rodeo, but they have the deepest pitching staff and the most experienced pitching staff.
Keegan Mayhew in the air to left, caught by Glover, but that's deep enough. Bennett will come in to score on the sac fly, and it's 10-1.
But as we talked about, there is no margin for error. It's single elimination. So the motto I've always looked at for the FGCL is anyone can beat anybody and no lead is safe.
Always.
So
Strike 1 to Harley Chisholm.
it's going to be a lot of fun, one way or the other. I think someone we're not talking about is going to do something really cool.
I can't wait. Chisholm back up the middle. Stopped by Knoll. Great play. Throw to first is not in time. Hannah Evans is over at first. I'm going to assume for the first time in years, if ever.
Maybe ever.
Now, Bradshaw. This is, oh no, Prim couldn't glove it on a high hop. Another run will score. It's 11-1 on the RBI single by KB. Good base running by Chisholm to get to 3.
I think Noah might have had a chance there at short.
I think if you're going to do that, though, your play is at second.
Right.
I don't think you would have had a shot at first.
No.
Here's Griggs. Look out, Evans. No play. Run scores, 12-1. RBI single for Garrett Griggs.
Her weakest contact of the day, and she gets
And it
her
works.
second hit.
Shout out to softball. It's so dumb.
And this could be an important at bat for Brantley Wortham. She's been so close all day.
Mm. She's 0 for 2, 2 flyouts, 2 walks, and 2 runs.
But even dating back to the home run derby.
Just to wrap up the schedule talk, we won't go into the 7th. Semis on Friday. The one with the mock swashbucklers, that crew. Field 1 at 2:30. Slice, squeeze, the whole gang. Field 2 at 2:30. And then the championship, 10 a.m. Santa's coming to town. Field 2 on Saturday. Tom and I will be up here in the booth. Might get Lance involved, and there's a called strike 3. So a good finish for Newton, but 3 more runs in for the Surf. And Tom will just keep it here because we've kept it here for a while now. Any other playoff thoughts before we get into the 7th inning?
I just think it's going to be a very competitive, and what we've seen all year long usually bears itself out even more so in the playoffs when coaches are able to put just 100% their best 9 and play, go for blood, as they talked about. It's going to be fun softball.
Per my metrics, none of those runs were earned. So
yeah. That's another. I think that's going to be huge
defense
in postseason. Clean defense.
Yes, for the love of God,
Right.
Please field a ground ball. You got it. Nobody better, babe.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart defense, smart base running.
Mm-hmm.
It's when all the phases really come into effect, and the margins becomes thinner, and that means the room for error is less.
Which is why I think if we had odds for this, not just because they won the regular season title, but I think the Slice will probably be pretty clear favorites here because they've been so sound
Right.
from start to finish. They have the fewest errors. They're, I think, 5th in batting average, 4th in batting average, 2nd in ERA, 3rd in ERA, whatever it is. Everyone else is kind of all over the map. There's an area where they're not great at. Even the Swashbucklers got the best offense in the league. Pitching is very, very good, but they're, I think, 3rd to last in errors.
Yeah.
With 13 errors in the last couple games.
That's the team that doesn't have a glaring weakness, and which is the Slice at this point.
Mia Richards, Sophia Jen, Delaney Glover due up here in the 7th. Last chance for the Sun. I have a feeling the Surf will not be hitting again today. So we got to be thinking about MVP.
Of this game. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Viewers at home, if you have a thought, tweet us at Gray_Robertson. Send your votes in. We won't necessarily count them, but send your votes in. Uh-oh. I kept Bob? I think so. You're going to take a walk after that one.
Yeah.
Richards is 0 for 2 today. Strikeout and a flyout.
Yeah. So who are some of our candidates here for the MVP?
Well, the 3 that jump off the page, you've got Keegan Mayhew, drove in 3 runs today, 1 for 1, had a home run. Libby J. Hughes, 1 for 1 with a home run. Megan Towery had kind of the 2-run homer that busted the game open.
Right.
Like that was kind of the signal of, okay, and we're done here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure any of the pitchers really stayed in long enough to be in it.
No.
Which is fine. It's the life you choose, pitchers.
I think I know who my vote would go to.
Nice pitch into Richards, 3-1.
I'm going to say if you hit it inside the park, home run. That should count for something. Reach base twice.
Technically, those were the game-winning RBIs. All right, so unless there's I think I'm with you. Unless there's a 12-run top of the 7th here, and we have to do this again. That one got away. Richards heads to first, but it's all for naught. Strikeout for Dally, her third. One down. Sophia Jen walked in the 5th. Of course, a big thank you to our friend Michelle Smith for coming by for probably longer than she thought she would. But that's kind of how we all roll when we're together.
Yeah. It's one of our standard multi-times a season Out of the Box podcast guest.
Yeah. One is set, the other is kind of whenever. Yeah. Oh, Dally. She neither dillies nor dallies. She strikes out. That is 4 Ks in an inning and 2/3 for Kate Dally.
If this was a closer game, she would have probably a MVP.
Yeah. This has been pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Some of her best work we've seen this summer. Here's the MVP, Delaney Glover. Delaney struck out in the 5th. Off of Dally. This is going to be tricky. Chisholm! Ball game! That is what Harley Chisholm can do. And that is how the All-Star game comes to an end. Domination from the Surf, 12-1.
Which was surprising to me. I thought that we had 2 very even teams entering this All-Star game, but that offense just got rolling for the Surf, and Sun could never really get anything going. So are we ready to declare the MVP?
Yeah, should we say it super loudly? Or, like, I don't know, do they want to hear it from us? I've texted Gracie to bring the trophy out. Is she hurrying? Is it good hurrying or bad hurrying?
Do you want me to go grab it?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it. Nobody better.
Here we go. Here we go.
So Tom is going to get the trophy. We'll keep it on the air for just a moment as we announce the MVP. Tom, make sure you do it in front of the camera.
Okay.
Wonderful performance by Kate Dally. And it looks like it's picture time for Coach Britt. And Tom is ready to present the trophy. As the swashbucklers take their pictures. Okay. After much deliberation, the MVP of the All-Star Game is Libby J. Hughes. So Libby J. Hughes gets the award, and the day ends for us. Playoffs tomorrow. All right, all the fun is over. We had a great time, but it's time to win. Postseason starts at 9:30. We got action on Field 1 and Field 2. Again, Field 1 tomorrow, 9:30. 11 seed Impact, 14 seed Sea Cows. Field 2 at 9:30. 12 seed Queens, 13 seed Skeeters. Many thanks to everybody who was a part of this. Michelle Smith, producer Gracie, producer Yarnell, Tori, the whole gang. My partner Tom Canterbury, who might be coming back up here. Yes, here he is. Tom, any final thoughts before we say goodbye and start the postseason?
Excited for the postseason tomorrow. These games will be a lot of fun.
Let's do it. All right, for Tom, I'm Gray. This is a blast. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time here at the FGCL.